Hello all, welcome in this video where we will discuss the challenges to sustainable economic growth. We all understand that the conventional model is not viable and what we want to achieve is sustainable development. So how do we achieve it and which are the challenges? So let's know the 6 challenges in this video. So let's start with the first, which is we need to move from quantity to quality. And what do I mean by that is when we say quantity, so currently we have a quantitative approach, which is, if you know conventional model, so we have a cost benefit analysis where we only capture the economic benefits or the economic considerations of any project or any process. How do we bring in the intangibles, right? Intangibles means how to capture the value of ecological systems, the flora and fauna. So how do we capture all the value? And second, in quantitative approach, always we have the bigger is better, right? So we assume that the conventional model is based on if we mass produce, if we have mass manufacturing, then the quantity will be increasing, right? Then the cost will decrease and so it will be more profitable. There is more incentive to do that. Correct. This is a conventional model where we are driven by the quantity, but the quality is somewhere missing. And to understand this issue better, so there is one book from E.F. Schumacher, which is Small is Beautiful, as if a study of economics as if people mattered. So this is one of the great book I would like to recommend you. Please do read this book to get more insights about these systems. But the first issue, I hope it is clear to you, is we need to move from quantity to quality. How do we add value to the lives of people apart from the only quantitative, the measurable part? The second challenge is economic model to self-development model. And in the economic model, we need to have symbiosis between humanity and nature. Human self-development should be at core of the development. Currently, we only hear about growth, right? So which is only the crude form in only the economic terms. How much money, how much growth, GDP, but that doesn't capture the self-development, the human part of the development. So that needs to be captured. And the current industrial systems, they are material dependent and there is mental slavery. Consider the example. Do you hear customer or consumer? You might have heard consumer word more than the customer. So consumer is someone who consumes. There is mental slavery. The more we consume, the more happiness we will get. And so it has to drive the growth, it has to drive the consumption levels. But mind you, the resources are limited, right? So earlier times, maybe if we go back to 50, 100 years, at that time, thinking that the resources, the forest, the nature will deplete, it was really difficult to imagine, right? So the population was really less. I will say about 1 to 2 billion if you consider the scenario. And then currently we have passed 8 billion. As population increases, the resource requirement for these people increases, right? And then unlimited growth in a limited system is impossible. So that's why we need to move from economic model to human self-development model. So how do we do that? That will be the challenge for our generation. Then third is patriarchal society to holistic paradigm of equity, unsustainable economic growth. If you analyze this, you will find these some inequalities in it. First is male domination, racism, subordination of nature, no consideration for the nature or environment, suppression of women and other weaker sections of society. These are unsustainable ways where you do not appreciate the rights of the other people or the weaker people. Those people who are not economically well, those people who do not have the resources. So these are just neglected and they are not taken into consideration into growth or their development. We need to find out the solution to have the paradigm of equity. The next, fourth is TINA, that is TINA approach to strategy of design, right? So TINA is there is no alternative. In conventional governments or political systems or the industries, so they will say that there is no alternatives. What is the implicit meaning? The phrase is used to suggest that in a world of bad choices, you must choose least bad, and this is the only option that we have. Look, there are other n number of worse things, and from that you need to choose this. So it has been used in historical by many political parties as well. You can search it on internet also. But this is a approach of domination where the pursuit of finding better options is complete gets stopped completely over here. And that's why we need to find a way to have strategy of design, because it's our choices that have produced these results that we are getting today. So it's in our control to get solutions as well. Then fifth is polluter pays principle, so which is producers who damage the conditions of good living environment must also pay and bear the cost of damage to the society. There is a producer who is creating the sewage, or the polluted water is there. Then the water treatment plant has to be produced. The cost of that has to be included into the price of the product. So how do we do it? First is internalizing the cost of damage. So if producer is producing some, let's say, wastewater, then the wastewater has to be treated by the producer itself, right? So we can do it with internalizing the cost of damage, and second, by regulatory mechanism. Through regulatory mechanisms, we may know that there is a lot of pollution in that industries, and so we will not allow any more industries to operate in that vicinity, or we will mandate the standards to control the pollution, that is polluted water that is coming from the industry. So we will have the standards, and that will be measured and monitored. So it can be done in both the ways. And sixth is appropriate technology and community owned firms. So we need to move toward appropriate technology. And what do I mean by appropriate technology? So these are not some big corporates or big some high tech which is resource intensive, capital intensive. No, appropriate technology is something which is having small capital. It's not resource intensive, it is need based. How do we have social upliftment at the same time? So there are multiple options of community owned firms, which is municipality owned enterprises or NGOs, non-for-profit community corporations, or there is a new certifications or terms are coming as B corporations, which are the businesses which are intending to do good for the society. But overall, the outcome of this is this all organizations work not only for profit but also protect and represent community interests, because they understand that pursuit of only monetary gains or profit will not last long. So they need to also protect the community where they are working as well. These are the 6 challenges which we need to tackle to move towards sustainable economic growth. Instead of growth, I'll call sustainable economic development. So hopefully, let's have a discussion on these points and how do we promote it. Please do let me know what do you think about this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and you can contribute for financial sustainability of this initiative as well. So please join the channel, become a member of this initiative. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.